Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Shayla Diamond. You can call me Shay, Shayla, whatever. But I just wanted to do another little video showing some of the stuff that I make, or that I'm not that I make, but stuff I'm working on. Because as it stands right now, I've only completed one project right now with my knitting and crocheting. The one project I've completed was a granny square based bag. Like, I made two big granny squares, connected them, and then made a bunch of smaller granny squares, about this size, give or take, about the size of my hand. And I made the smaller granny squares into the handle for it, or strap, more or less, because it's a crossbody bag. That's in the other room. I will try to remember to share it later. But that's, correction, I've completed two projects now that I think of it. I've completed that, plus I've completed a scarf for my fiance. I completed the scarf back in January, and I completed the bag back in mid-December, a week or so before Christmas. Right now I have 8 projects that I'm working on. There's one that's gonna take all year. It's a temperature blanket, a granny square based temperature blanket. Pretty much, I take a granny square, this size. What color I make the granny square depends solely on the average temperature in my area for the day. But I make one about this size, and then no matter what color the square is, I use a dark green yarn to put a border around it. I have a few completed ones right here. This is, kind of what this one will look like when this granny square is done. But I use the dark green to put the border, around the granny square. And then I use a brown to connect them. So the brown is at the bottom of my basket that I have over here. But when I dig around and get the brown, they'll be connected like that. The first row and the last row of my blanket that I'm making, my temperature blanket, the first and last rows will have 10 granny squares, 10 of these, based off the temperature, the average temperature for those days. And the other 23 rows, if I remember correctly, if I'm remembering the math correctly, the other 23 rows will have 15 of these each. The reason I did it that way is because there's 365 days in a year, and there's no way to have it turn out, good, or like in a perfect square or a perfect rectangle, with that many days. But each day around 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, I will look at my phone, pull up the weather app, and I'll say, okay, the high for today is 48. I'm just pulling numbers out of my butt. The high for today is 48 and the low for today is 32. You add 48 and 32, you get 80. And then you divide 80 by 2 to get the average. And that gives you 40. So the average for the, for today might be 40. I have a handful of colors that I've picked. There's mint for any day where the average is, 15 degrees or lower. 16, or for an average of 16 to 30, you have a light blue. For 31 degrees to 45 for the average, you have the dark blue. 46 to 60 is a cream color. I don't have it, handy right now, but it's kind of a cream color. 61 to 75 is yellow. 75 to 90 is pink. And then 91 and higher is red. No matter what, the color is, the border is going to be green. So border here is green. The border for this one will be green when I add that border. All the borders are going to be green. I have that going on. I have a shawl that I'm making. I'm working on a scarf for my fiance's mother, a throw blanket, okay, somebody was driving by and they were going really slow. Anyways, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm also working on a hexagon cardigan, a bandana for the dog. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 2 more. A book cover, or whatever you want to call it. Like, you take a hardcover book, or even a paperback book, either one, and you take the front cover, stick it in one half, wrap the cover around the spine, and then put the back cover in the other half, and it'll, protect the cover of the book. I'm working on that. And there's one other project that I'm working on, but I can't remember right offhand what it is. Like, I hyper focus on one project at a time and end up forgetting what else I'm working on until I dig through my stuff. Hold on 2 seconds. Okay, yeah. The one I was forgetting was my Woobles kit. I got 2 of the Woobles kits for Christmas. One was Walter the bear, and the other is Pierre the penguin. I completed Walter back around Christmas, like a couple days after, and I started on Pierre the penguin a few weeks back, but I just haven't gotten around to finishing him yet. So I'll work on him when I get to him. But this is the bag that, while I was in the other room, I grabbed this. But this is the bag that I made. I used the Walmart brand Mainstays yarn for this. But I made two gigantic granny squares. And like I said, I made a few of the granny squares, like smaller ones. But around the border, I put, 2 rows of double crochets in each stitch, and then I connected them on the inside, right through there, turned it, right side out. With the smaller granny squares, I put 1 row of a border. I did that for the variegated yarn and the yellow, and then I connected them with the yellow yarn. Then I went back around and put a border connecting everything together for like a edge. When I got all that done, I had a little bit of the variegated yarn left, so I made a little bit of a pocket. And this hair tie I got from a company that I ordered a hair bonnet from, and it kept popping out. My hair is really thick and stuff, so it doesn't really handle hair ties like this. Although it will. So I put super glue, I hooked it around part of the thing, super glued it, and then I crocheted a little patch here with the remaining part of the variegated yarn. I use that to hold my little stitch markers. So that's one of the projects that I've finished. And I made this so that if I go out in public to a family get-together or just out in public in general, if I want to take some of my yarn with me, I can just, take whatever yarn I want, drop it in, and go. And I wanted to make it out of a couple granny squares. That way, if I'm working with multiple yarn colors at one time, I can feed the yarn through the holes. That way I don't have to dig around, try to find the yarn I'm looking for, and then switch. I can just, reach down. Oh, there's my green available. Oh, here's my, light blue available. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about digging around. I can just reach down, find the one I'm looking for, coming out of the side of the bag, and then go. But that's one project I've finished. Then there was the Walter the Bear, Woobles kit. Then there was the scarf I made for my fiance, but we're not going to talk about that because it didn't turn out like I wanted it to. Let's put it that way. Which, let's face it, your first scarf, your first wearable item when you're crocheting, it never works out. You always have to frog it and then restart, frog it again. Oh, look, I'm doing really good. Oh, no, never mind. I'm not doing good. I'm doing terrible. But he said it's okay for it to be, wonky. So, I left it with all the mistakes. I need to add the row to my temperature blanket that I just finished. Not counting the row I finished a few days ago, this is what it's looking like so far. Remember I said top row, first row and last row are gonna have 10 squares each, and I know it's not even, there and over here. I know it's not even, but it's fine. This is what it's looking like for the first 2 rows. I need to be careful I didn't connect those like I thought I did. But I need to connect the row I finished a few days ago. that's what the first 2 rows look like for it. The next row is at the bottom of my basket that I have over here. So that's one project that I'm working on currently. If I can get this one back up. One of the other projects I'm working on is a shawl. And for the shawl, I'm using the Lion Brand Yarns brand. And I really like this yarn. It's comfortable, it's easy to work with, for me at least. Some people may not like it. Like, it may irritate some people's, texture issue. There are times where if I work with it a certain way, it, snags on my hands, but that's because occasionally I have dry hands. I have issues with dry skin, but otherwise it doesn't bother me. This is what it's looking like so far. It's about half done or so. And I say half done because this is a project for me, and I'm a bigger person. I'm a bigger girl. So I need my shawl and I need my hexagon cardigan that I'm working on to be bigger. To be plus size. So it's about half done as it is. But this is how it's turning out so far. I'm using the, where is it? Where's the label for it? Here. Alright, I'm using the Lion Brand Yarns brand. It's the Mandala Bonus Bundle yarn. It's pretty big. Anyways, but it naturally gradates depending on the yarn lot, or the dye lot, sorry. Depending on the dye lot that you get, it might variate, or not variate. Today's been a long day. It might gradate from white to tan to pink, or it may start with a pink, go to white, then go to tan, or it may be like this one. I'm making my hexagon cardigan out of the same yarn. So I'm gonna have 2 different wearables using the same, yarn brand, the same color, all that. But depending on the dye lot, you might have more pink in the center, and then less white, and then it might finish on this, pink color, this almost salmon pink color, whereas the next one might have more white and less pink in the center, and it might finish on this lighter pink, almost white. So it just depends on the dye lot. The shawl had more, had less pink and more white at the beginning, whereas the first half of this portion of my hexagon cardigan had more pink, more of the dark pink, then gradate into the, lighter pink, and then less white. I have one more skein of this particular yarn in the office, This cake, or not skein, cake. This cake will make up 1/2 of my hexagon cardigan. That is the wrong corner. There it is. This will make 1/2 of the hexagon cardigan, and I'll use the other cake that I have of this colorway to make the other half when this one's, you know, complete. But that is where I'm at with that. I think that's all I'm gonna, you know, talk about for this video. If you've watched this far, thank you. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask, and feel free to subscribe if you would like.